Hi YouTube. First of all, thank you guys for all of the helpful videos that you've uploaded that have allowed me to do things a little bit faster than I would normally be able to do them. So, what I'd like to show you is why you should never buy the SPEC clutches for your Focus ST. I'm on my 5th clutch. It's been about less than 100,000 miles, so this has become a problem. Of course, I got the big turbo on a lower power tune and all the bolt-ons, so it's not necessarily being used for a granny car. But factory clutches, trash. As you can see, the whole center section is retained by plastic retainers. For a car that's supposed to be pretty awesome, why would plastic components be responsible for holding the entire clutch together? All of the white material you see here is plastic as well. Spring retainers are all plastic. So what happens during rough use, hard acceleration after gear shifts, etc., the whole center section starts moving. Especially if you break one of these tiny little plastic ears off of the retaining component. Okay, this shit flakes right off. Let me show you. See that? If you catch it in time, you can get it out, likely without damaging your flywheel. But since you probably won't, this is what happens. Center section grenades. You get dozens of shards of metal caught all up inside of your flywheel, which pretty much tears that up too if you are still using that factory piece of junk. And as you can see from the clutch disc itself, it obviously hadn't been abused, neglected, or ridden roughshod like a fella doesn't know what he's doing in this car. Of course, here's the other one that is in similar condition. You know, very little wear, if any at all. I mean, I've held it up to new clutch discs, and you can't see the difference. So why would I put this trash back in my car? Well, glad you asked. I wouldn't. Even though I can swap it out in a few hours, I got better ways to spend my time. So, after searching online for a reasonably priced clutch, it became very clear to me that this clutch system here is nothing but a money grab. You can buy a clutch disc for just about any car. Yes, they recommend changing the flywheel. Yes, they recommend changing the pressure plate. But for anyone who's been through enough cars, you know, like I know, that if your pressure plate isn't busted up, there's no reason to change it out. So why am I spending $400 on a factory clutch? So the price has dropped recently to about $150. Still doesn't make me okay with it because I know it's going to explode because it was almost designed to. One of the reasons why Ford is probably no longer making these cars in America, selling these cars in America, is because people like me refuse to buy trash that turns into a money pit. I mean, we're talking about a car that can't do 60 in less than 5 seconds. So compared to all the big blocks and things I've had, why am I spending more on a clutch for this 4-banger than I would for one of those? Doesn't make sense. You soy boys who are not familiar with the way money and horsepower works might disagree, but whatever. Cue my new SPEC clutch kit. $600 worth of stage 2 plus clutch. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Yes, that is the exact same bullshit factory center that comes on the stock clutch. Plastic. They're even inclusive of the exact same part number for the center. Wow, what bullshit. So, I'm thinking, if the disc is obviously of the same strength as the factory disc, with the addition of some decent friction material, disregard the factory fingerprints and that heat dissipative material that's been placed on there. So I'm thinking, well, wow, let's go ahead and fire up the pressure plate, see what we can come up with. Let's look at the pressure plate. It should be a lot better than the factory one. Cue the SPEC upgraded pressure plate. I'm like, damn, let's compare the spring sizes versus the factory pressure plate. See what I'm getting for my money. I'll be damned. The spring fingers are the exact same size. I'm like, wow, what a coincidence. It seems to me like it retains the factory casting. Wow, why would they design their pressure plate based exactly off the factory pressure plate? Wait a minute. Even these dainty little springs here, which, I mean, if they're on there, I don't know what the hell they're there for. Maybe some adjustment. So then you turn it over and look at the spring fingers. And what you begin to notice is, gee, that says luck on it. Right there. So you get the picture. And it's got these factory stamps on it. The production numbers on the spring fingers. GO3024121H8. Wow, that's strange. This one has the exact same number stamped on the spring finger. Holy shit, the only thing it's missing is the luck. Oh, wait a minute. It's been ground off right there. Yeah, can you guys see that? So they ground off luck, spray painted it inside. Very shittily spray painted the factory pressure plate. Upgraded the clutch disc and sold it to me for $600. Before I bought it, my questions were, hey, what does it take to get a replacement clutch disc? I asked this of all the manufacturers, ACT, South Bend, and they all replied to me like I was retarded. Oh, what do you mean? Blah, blah, we'll have to get back to you. SPEC was the only company that told me that their factory could produce a replacement wheel, a replacement friction. You know how much they want for it? $350. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a scam, where these sons of bitches are basically selling me a factory spray painted clutch with some SPEC stickers on it and telling me it's good for whatever the stage 2+ clutch is. The company I bought it from, Imnotech, those sons of bitches obviously put my name on a do not answer list. He bought a SPEC Clutch and is obviously going to be dissatisfied with it because the website said it comes with the hydraulic throwout bearing and a alignment tool. It comes with neither. Their salesmen were not pleasant to deal with in the least. And here I am stuck with a $600 clutch that's actually only worth about $100 and, maybe $200 based on the fact that I can get the factory clutch now for $150. Coincidentally, if you find yourself fucked over in this same predicament, your options might be limited, especially if you bought it from Imnotech. So, one solution that I've come up with is, it seems like based on the failure analysis, this plastic ring coming out here does all the bad. So I'm going to end up, I've cut some fiberglass blanks that I'm going to use to bed the entire center here, with a final disc coming out to the edge of this ring here, in which I'll vacuum the whole thing down and see if I can't set this ring here to actually make it worth a little bit more horsepower. But for that reason, please don't waste your money on the SPEC Clutch. I would also add, don't waste your money on any clutch unless the manufacturer can offer you a replacement disc for a reasonable price. If I'm doing wheel stands in a Comet with a 302 with a very similar clutch disc, and that disc costs $100. There's no reason why I should be replacing the entire clutch system on this car every time I'm trying to do something in it with this little 350, 400 horsepower. And there's no reason I should be spending, $800 for it. Anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to check out how I got fucked over by SPEC and Imnotech.